My name is Mark MacDonald, and I'm from Turtle Island, which many people know as North America. I'm the National Indigenous Anglican Bishop for the Anglican Church of Canada. At the same time, I serve as the North American Regional President for the World Council of Churches. Since Busan, I've been talking to people back in Canada from a wide range of experience and perspective about the pilgrimage. And what I've noticed is that the idea of pilgrimage is difficult for people to grasp. It seems discretionary and add-on. And that's been important for me in framing how I understand pilgrimage. Now, pilgrimage is for Indigenous people in North America an ambivalent term. In our context, we talk about walking, and at any given time in Canada these days, there's liable to be a walk going on. This is one or more people who are walking a long distance to pray and to bring focus to a particular cause. Now, this in one of our largest language groups, the term for life is also the term for walking. And so, Bemadazuin, as it is pronounced in one of those languages, is the idea that if you are alive, you walk. And it has become such an important word that to walk also describes ethics. So oftentimes our elders will say in their language, Bemadazuin, but translated into English, the good walk, the good walk. In the same way, when someone does a kind of walk to call attention to a particular issue or to approach a particular challenge in life, either for an individual or a community, they will use that word for life, for walking. But then when they speak about it in English, they'll say sacred walk. So you'd also say, for instance, that Bemadazuin or life could be a word that describes ethics or theology or all of those topics put together. So when seen from that perspective, the sacred walk of life is what the pilgrimage is about. So that the pilgrimage is really about revealing something essential about our humanity, and not just about our humanity, about creation. And of course, Jesus is always on pilgrimage among us. He's always on the sacred walk among us. And it's very important to understand that when he gives us our basic instructions, as we would find in Luke chapter 10, that he describes our life as a pilgrimage, as a sacred walk. I think that this message is difficult for people to understand. I think the reason that pilgrimage has not had more traction among the churches is that we have lost this sense of sacred walk as presented in Luke chapter 10. Instead, we have become like a temple, saying people come. Some people have expanded to say anybody can come, please come in. But what Jesus asked for was something very different. He didn't say, build a building, build an institution, and then invite everybody. He's saying, I am sending you out on a sacred walk in which you depend upon the hospitality of the others. You're constantly putting yourself in a vulnerable position in terms of the hospitality of others. So I think that this, again, is an essential part of the sacred walk of the pilgrimage. And so I'm hoping that we can rediscover that the pilgrimage, that the sacred walk, can be a process of rediscovering something essential about the church, something that's been lost as the church became an institution of Christendom, expanding its influence out, expanding its institutions. In the idea of sacred walk or pilgrimage directly challenges, I think, the way in which churches have imagined themselves for centuries.